There's always a agenda, and yesterday I came up with this line कि मुझे एजेंडे का झंडा नहीं चाहिए.
करेक्ट. मुझे लगता है जब हम एजेंडा बनाते हैं किसी चीज़ के पीछे ना, तो हम सारा कंट्रोल वी वांट टू टेक इन आवर हैंड्स. देन वी डोंट लीव द रूम फॉर द बिगर पावर टू प्ले इट्स रोल.
If we have the capability of going within every now and then on a daily basis also, I think that's the biggest blessing one can have. All the answers that you get is from within, and I think you cannot logically find your purpose. You need to listen to your inner self.
So goals is largely what you want in life, but your purpose is larger than that. Your goals could be a means to take you closer to your purpose, but your purpose lies it lies in serving.
ये मैं इस घर पे नहीं रहता हूँ, मैं किसी बंगले में नहीं रहता हूँ, आप अपने शरीर में रहते हैं. Like magic is everywhere. Are we ready to address it and say, hey, you're there, come?
Hi everyone, welcome to the journey within with me, Shobha Rana. Well, this is a podcast where I take you through people's journey and how they evolve internally in their inner world, fight their own demons and things like that happen as the circumstances in life present themselves to these people. And today I have this very interesting person with me. He is an actor par excellence. Started his career with Always Kabhi Kabhi back in 2011. Then did Prasthanam, played a bad boy, a son that you don't want. Then Mumbai Diaries, of course, put him on the map. And bestseller is his latest release. I'm very happy to welcome Satyajeet Dubey with me on this podcast.
Thank you so much for such a kind, generous introduction.
Thank you, Satya, first of all, for doing this on such a short notice. I mean, thank you. I think you are one of the only people who I just sent a text and you responded immediately. and you immediately told me that, don't you think it's a very short notice?
Yeah.
and I'm so embarrassed as I read your text, and I'm like, what do I say to him now?
No, so I'll tell you, sometimes, you are in a certain space of mind. And there are days I'm free and somebody calls me to do something or for an event, but I'm not in that headspace. I make up an excuse and I'm like, because I'm genuinely not available. Maybe physically I'm available and my time is there, but I'm occupied in terms of my mental space, in terms of my spiritual space. I'm not there. Lately, it's been a good space. It's been something where I'm, as you were talking right before the interview, every day feels like, okay, there's a new journey starting now. Every day seems like, oh wow, ये तो अभी कुछ नया शुरू होने वाला है. तो when I saw that text and when I read the entire thing that you sent me, I was like, this sounds interesting. So I followed my gut feeling, and Lalit Chaudhary, he's a dear friend. I've known him since a long time. So I think that's how you...
Lalit is a beautiful human.
So he's a dear friend, and agar he recommended something and you thought ki I'm worthy of being on this podcast and talk about things, and we discuss, have a dialogue about things about...
Lalit is such a darling. I met him first time a couple of weeks ago, and he is probably the only man who showed up with flowers, and I said, okay.
No, he's one of the sweetest people, and there is no ulterior motive,
behind it, right?
In this city, most of the times there's always a agenda, and yesterday I came up with this line कि मुझे एजेंडे का झंडा नहीं चाहिए.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't want to. If I'm meeting you, okay, we are here for business. We are here to make movies and make a name in the entertainment business, and do stuff milestone to milestone, keep achieving things. But at the same time, it has to be, you have to find that balance where you meet people with nothing, I have nothing to gain out of you. I just want to be in your company. Oh, I like you as a person.
And let's see how it unfolds from there.
Yeah, I mean, हर चीज़ के पीछे उतना एजेंडा नहीं होना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से.
मुझे लगता है जब हम एजेंडा बनाते हैं किसी चीज़ के पीछे ना, तो हम सारा कंट्रोल वी वांट टू टेक इन आवर हैंड्स. देन वी डोंट लीव द रूम फॉर द बिगर पावर टू प्ले इट्स रोल एंड unfold the things how they're supposed to happen for you. So speaking about taking control and achieving things in life. You started out with Always Kabhi Kabhi,
Yeah.
and it was commercially not a success.
Yes.
I mean,
Quite a disaster.
it was quite a disaster, to put it in that many words.
Yeah.
So from there to Prasthanam happened in 2019. So these
Yeah.
8 years, take me through these 8 years.
Wow.
What was the actor Satyajeet Dubey doing? What was his mental and emotional state? And of course, the physical state.
I think those were the most constructive and most turbulent times of my life. I was constantly hand to mouth. I was constantly trying to make my ends meet. I was constantly struggling within. There was a lot of self doubt. There was a lot of guilt. There was a lot of shame. And I'll tell you, I'll come to that why. So, when Always Kabhi Kabhi happened, I moved to Bombay in 2007 from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. I remember the date also, 7th June 2007. I moved to Bombay, Mumbai, okay? Yeah. हाँ अभी
I just realized we've
कैंसिलेशन का ज़माना चल रहा है, कुछ भी बोल दो, सांस भी ले लो, अरे इसको कैंसिल कर दो, अरे भाई. I like the sound of Bombay, but Mumbai is beautiful as well. So मैं 7 जून को बम्बई आया, and आते साथ ही ना, ever since I've been in this city, I've been working. I was doing my college, but at the same time I remember my grandmother telling me, beta, I can send you maybe 4,000, 5,000 rupees every month. And in my head I was like, okay, it's a good amount, because coming from Bilaspur.
From Bilaspur, probably.
तो when I came here, I realized यार 3,500 तो सिर्फ वो छोटे से कमरे का भाड़ा हो जाएगा, तो क्या. And then I didn't have the courage to tell my grandmother, because a lot of tragedies happened while I was growing up. A lot of people passed when they were in the late 30s, early 40s. So those were really difficult times growing up. And I would like to mention, I'm a product of a matriarchal setup and matriarchal family, where I was brought up by my grandmother. My mom was around. 2 sisters who are younger to me, but somewhere they also brought me up in a way, I can say that. So I moved here, and then I realized that I have to do things to sustain and to float. So I started, did a lot of things here. I worked in a call center for almost 7 months. I was 17, yeah. And then तो मैं रात को काम करता था, सुबह कॉलेज जाता था, फिर थोड़ा बहुत थिएटर करता था. थिएटर में भी ऐसा नहीं कि आप स्टेज में एक्टिंग कर रहे हैं, बैक स्टेज कर रहे हैं, चाय ले आई, कोई एक्टर नहीं आया तो उसकी लाइन पढ़ ली, ये वो धीरे धीरे. And I think there is some light, something, I don't know. I think I'm able to articulate my thoughts better, but at that point of time also, I felt this sense of something guides you, even in the days when you're so confused and down and out and you don't know what to do, how to deal with the situation. There is some guiding light that guides you, it takes you. Sometimes unknowingly you follow it. So I was like, boss, what am I doing here? It was 2007 ending. I was like, I can't be sleeping for 2 hours and go to the college and then work and then also look for different avenues to make money. I was doing वो जो fashion shows होते हैं ना, उसमें backstage करना कि कौन सी मॉडल कौन से ट्रैक पे किसका क्या किसको कैफे लाते चाहिए तो किसको कैपेचिनो चाहिए किसको. I was like a runner. I was just doing every possible thing. And I think I'd like to believe I had this nice personality, even though I was like a kid, 17. I was like, everybody used to like me for some reasons, and I used to be there, with a good energy around. तो वो सारी चीज़ें हो रही थी, and somebody told me कि यार, why don't you do television? And I was like, यार अभी पैसे कमाने के लिए तो कुछ भी करेंगे. In my head, I was pretty clear that as an actor, I'll tell you, it was very, very, very clear that I want to be an actor. And I didn't want to be an actor. I believe I was always an actor. I came to Mumbai and I started getting paid for it. I've never been trained in dance or acting or any particular field of performance-oriented stuff. I've always observed and created and let my imagination fly and follow that instinct and that, light. So I take so many different parts. I forget what was the center of the conversation. So yeah, हाँ. तो then I realized कि यार ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ. मैं तो एक्टर बनने आया था ना यहाँ पे. तो थिएटर में छोटा मोटा काम मिल गया, वॉलंटियर कर रहे हो डिफरेंट थिएटर फेस्टिवल्स में, बैक स्टेज कर रहे हो. तो पीपल स्टार्टेड, आई यूज टू हैंग आउट एट पृथ्वी थिएटर अ लॉट. पीपल स्टार्टेड स्पॉटिंग मी एंड सेइंग कि हाँ तुम इसके लिए आओ, उसके लिए आओ, इसके लिए टेस्ट करो, उसके लिए टेस्ट करो. तो छोटा मोटा टीवी में 1-2 दिन का काम किया, ये किया वो किया, कि हाँ भाई कहीं से 6,000 आ गए, कहीं से 7,000 आ गए, कहीं कुछ कर लिया. उसके बाद फिर आई वॉज रियली फैसिनेटेड विथ एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, इफ़ यू आर विजिबल इन गुड एड फिल्म्स, दैट यूज टू बी अ बिग थिंग. And everybody used to say कि you have a very ad face, you know, very likable, you know, slightly more chubby and long curly hair and this, you know, vibe, school boy vibe about me. So I remember for almost 1 year I was auditioning back to back and nothing great was happening. And all of a sudden, I'm not counting the television work which was 1 day, 2 day, where you just filling in and 2 दिन के लिए काम करके आ रहे हो बस. All of a sudden, within 1 month, I shot for 4 major brands. Reliance Big TV, Pizza Hut, Kit Kat, HDFC Bank. And I'm like, my face was all over, plastered. So that was one space where, okay, when you're constantly consistent, things do turn around. And तब उतना ज्ञान नहीं था, उतनी assessment या awareness नहीं थी. I was like, हम तो कर रहे हैं बस. And so much physical, creative, fun energy, you just want to go there and, you know, give it all. And at that point of time, I remember Anurag Kashyap was producing a play, and वो play हो रहा था पृथ्वी थिएटर पे. I think कल्कि का play था कोई, और he was there. And मैं कोई दूसरे नाटक का किसी पे काम कर रहा था, तो मेरे मुंह में समोसा भरा हुआ था. And I was already a fan because I had seen Devdi. And I knew this guy has made this film called, you know, Black Friday, and 5 that didn't release. So सिनेमा का थोड़ा ज्ञान था, कौन क्या कर रहा है वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी, अच्छी सिनेमा क्या होता है वो सब एक रियलाइजेशन थी कि भाई कौन क्या कर रहा है यहाँ पे. एंड यू लाइक, अरे तू सुन 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 मेरी बात सुन, तेरा नाम सत्या है ना? लाइक हाँ, हम लोग एक पिक्चर बना रहे हैं, तो तू फिट होता है उसमें, वो लीड लड़का है, उसके लिए टेस्ट करना है. तो दैट फिल्म वाज कॉल्ड उड़ान. आई वेंट देयर, टेस्टेड फॉर इट. आई वाज लाइक हाँ अभी तो गाड़ी निकल गई बॉस, 2-3 महीना ये चलता रहा. एंड आई डिडंट गेट इट because Vikramaditya Motwani, I met the director, and he was like, you know, Satya, you're good, but you're not the character that I'm looking for. अब मुझे समझ नहीं आया what does he mean. मुझे लगा यार इतना घुमाया, बंदर की तरह नचाया, फिर अब बोल रहे हो कि okay ठीक है, maybe that's how it is. And I was really pissed. I think जो एक 17-18 साल का लड़का होगा कि हाँ क्या समझते हैं अपना को, ये वो है. And I was just like, and उसी दौरान I was shooting for this show called, then I went back to the television thing that I was doing. I was shooting for this show called Jhansi Ki Rani. I was playing this character, the younger version of Nana Saheb Peshwa. तो मैं कहीं महेश्वर में शूट कर रहा था. 2008 की बात है, 8-9 की बात है, 8 की, हाँ. And मुझे constantly calls आ रहे हैं कि you know, Roshan Abbas wants to meet you and this and that. I was like, ये कौन है? I didn't know. हाँ, there's a film that is being made and they are considering. मेरे को क्यों consider कर रहे हैं, मैं कौन हूँ? Literally, I had this thought in my head, and for me, cinema was like, हाँ 25-26 के हो जाएंगे, जब अच्छे से चीज़ों का ज्ञान हो जाएगा, बहुत थिएटर कर लेंगे, then we'll, you know, then I'll start my journey. But universe had other plans. I come back and I met Roshan sir. They wanted me to test. I tested and I got the part. And you meet SRK and you are a part of the, you know, like, is it really happening? So I asked Roshan sir, why did you cast me? So like, you read the part and you sounded really natural and there's this earnestness about you, and this is what the character requires. I was like, अच्छा ये होता है, ठीक है, बढ़िया, इसको बोलते हैं एक्टिंग की. अगर लाइन याद की और naturally बोल दिया. तो I think that's how always कभी कभी happened. And then those 2 years were like dream यार, because Red Chillies Entertainment and the people over there, they were such nice, you know, people. वो 2 साल बहुत अच्छे से आपका ट्रीटमेंट हुआ, और यू नो फिल्म आई एंड हम खान साहब के साथ हैं, और यू नो आई एम कॉन्स्टेंटली पिंचिंग माई सेल्फ. आई टेल माई सेल्फ नाउ डेज, यू नो, समटाइम्स व्हेन आई सी हिम अराउंड, कि इफ आई गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू चिल विथ हिम, I'll have some great conversations with him. At that point of time I was constantly in awe. I was like, Shahrukh Khan, ये चलता रहता था. अभी वो गया, यानी as much as I'm a fan of his personality and his work, who isn't? Big fan. But I think it's been normalized, and I'm pretty much.
That was Always Kabhi Kabhi was first movie for Roshan also as a director.
Yeah.
And it was first production of Shah Rukh Khan production, Red Chillies
Where he
Entertainment,
was
where
not
he
there,
wasn't
no, yeah.
he was not playing a
Yeah.
role in the movie.
I remember
and it was your first assignment as well as an actor,
It was
movie
my
actor.
second year, third year in Bombay. I think I signed the film in 2009.
Yeah.
July 2009, June 2007, I moved to Bombay. Just
So
think
2
about
years.
it. A guy from Bilaspur who doesn't know shit about anything lands such a meaty part, one of the leads in this film, which is a high school coming of age kind of a thing. Yeah, it was a great experience, yaar. I think I made friends for life. I met some incredible people. Obviously, Ali Fazal, I met him there, and we
Oh,
became
you've recently done something with Ali Fazal again, right?
Prasthanam. That was
Prasthanam.
2019, but he's one of my closest people in life. We shared an apartment for almost 3 years during the making, of Always Kabhi Kabhi. दोस्ती हुई, बहुत सारे अच्छे लोग मिले. Unfortunately, the film didn't do well at the box office. And then I realized कि यार क्या है ये eventually at the end of the day ये धंधा है. It's business. And यहाँ पे मुझे अभी ये पिछले 2-3 सालों में मैंने अपने आप को सिखाया है कि डोंट टेक एनीथिंग पर्सनली. नथिंग इज पर्सनल. It's sorry, I'm keeping the creativity aside, but it's a stock market. One day your film is gonna make the opening, or your OTT show becomes a hit. I'm sorry to say this, guys, but sometimes even a substandard talent becomes really famous, and there's no logic or reason behind it, and they call it X Factor. मुझे X Factor समझ नहीं आता. मुझे हार्डवर्क और टैलेंट फैक्टर समझ आता है. मुझे वो भूख समझ आती है. बट आई ऑल्सो हैव अ लॉट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट फॉर पीपल जिनको मैं बोल रहा हूँ who are not that talented, but it takes some other kind of conviction to be there, what they are up to.
Sometimes
and what they're doing.
it's all about being at the right place at the right
And-
time, being spotted
yeah,
by the right people and all of that.
And there's this famous producer, I met him recently, and he said, देखो बेटा, सिंपल सी बात बता रहे हो तुमको, यहाँ पे 80% जो है वो लक है, 20% तुम्हारा टैलेंट है. मतलब अंकल जी आप सही बोल रहे हो, बिल्कुल बाबूजी सही है. तो उस वक्त यार ऑलवेज कभी कभी नहीं चली ना, तो मैं और अली, आई रिमेंबर वी हैड सच अ बैड हार्ट ब्रेक, बिकॉज इट वाज लिटरली लाइक वो जो पहला प्यार होता है और वो साकार नहीं हो पाता ना. And exactly, I think my love life was replicating my career life. My career life was, because I was madly in love with this one particular person from Bilaspur, and then she moved to Bangalore, I moved to Bombay. Long distance was becoming a problem.
Yeah.
She didn't want me to become an actor, and I was like, यार मछली को आप तैरने के लिए कैसे मना कर सकते हो? And I did my best to, but I couldn't, and I was like, boss नहीं हो पाएगा. And
So यहाँ लव लाइफ क्रैश कर रही है, फिर मूवी क्रैश कर
नहीं,
गई.
नहीं, तो वो तो पहले हो चुका था. लव लाइफ क्रैश की और मूवी मिली. तो मतलब चल, मुझे उस इतना तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग था कि ओके, यूनिवर्स इज टेकिंग अवे समथिंग बट गिविंग मी समथिंग एल्स. I had some sort of awareness. I'm able to articulate it better right now. But at that point of time, I was like, कुछ तो है कि ये वाली चॉकलेट ली तो बड़ी वाली चॉकलेट दे दी. As a बच्चा, I'm happy. But yeah, that was a major heartbreak, yaar, because you know what? The people you consider really close in the industry, or the people who launched you, or so many things. At the end of the day, वो आपको 1-2 दिन आपका कॉल उठाएंगे, आपसे बात करेंगे, then it's your own struggle, it's your own journey. And one thing I realized, I was like, I'm gonna be so bloody good that nobody can ignore me. And it was not about कि हाँ 20 में नहीं हुआ तो 25 में, 25 नहीं हुआ तो 30 में, 30 नहीं हुआ तो 35 में, 35 नहीं. I was pretty clear about the fact कि मैं 1-2 साल के गेम के लिए नहीं आया हूँ यहाँ पे. I'm here for a long run. And I can't marry mediocrity. That's I wouldn't call it a problem. I was about to say problem. I think that's my strength. I can't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. Maybe my work is mediocre to you. Maybe my journey is mediocre to you. But for me, from where I see it, there's been a lot of hard work and a lot of hardships. And I think that's what makes the juice sweeter when you get it, And I'm enjoying the juice now. And I'm extremely grateful for every bit. I'm grateful that we are sitting here, we are having this conversation. ये भाई साहब बैठे हैं वहाँ पे, ये भाई साहब यहाँ पे बैठे कभी कभी अपने फ़ोन में लग जाते हैं.
So when you have the 8 years going on like that for you,
Yeah.
you know, where you have almost no work. I'm sure you did something here
हाँ,
and there
हाँ.
in between, but almost no work from a movie with SRK production and things like that to not doing anything substantial in that period. You know, what is the emotional impact of that situation on an actor?
I'll tell you something. It took me a couple of years to figure out कि भाई क्या होता था अभी ना the attitude of people towards talent, and there's so many new avenues, and thanks to OTT and thanks to everything. तब back in the day in 2011 I'm talking about, either there used to be masala cinema or really arty films जहाँ पे एक certain kind of actors are required, और masala film जहाँ पे too much of jing bang is required, too much shosha, or there is this dadang dadang dadang. I didn't want to be a part of that dadang dadang dadang. The extreme art house cinema people didn't want me, and I was too young also. Yeah, I had this baby face, and then commercial cinema में होता क्या था, and this is the truth, a lot of people might agree with it जिनकी similar journey रही है, कि अगर आपकी पहली फिल्म नहीं चलती है जो बड़े प्रोडक्शन हाउस है ना, आपको ऐसा आउटकास्ट कर दिया जाता है. आपको बोला जाता है कि यार ये अरे फ्लॉप एक्टर है.
People are scared to put their money on you again.
हाँ, it's and then you realize कि ये फ्लॉप एक्टर है. मतलब कैसे फ्लॉप हो गया, ऐसे कैसे फ्लॉप हो गया, ये तो पुराना हो गया. अबे 20 साल की उम्र, 21 साल की उम्र है अभी, आई एम फ्रेश एज अ डेजी. हाउ डे यू से दैट. तब मुझे समझ आया कि बॉस ये मुझे ना, आई नीड टू वर्क ऑन माई सेल्फ.
So when the film succeeds, it's everybody. 500 people who have worked on the movie. When the film flops, I think actors take the most beating.
It does. No, it's not just the producer also goes through loss. The director also takes a beating.
But I'm saying beating in terms of your
being
image being tarnished as an actor, your talent being questioned as an actor, you not getting more assignments.
I remember some leading casting directors telling people कि अरे ये तो बकवास talent है इन लोग, क्यों इनको consider कर रहे हो. But you see what I'm doing today. You see what Ali Fazal is doing today. We sustained. हमने हार नहीं मानी. मेरे लिए यही था उस वक्त जब फिल्म नहीं चली. उसके बाद जब मैंने कुछ समय में मेरा, क्योंकि ना आपको लगता है यार आप बुरा फील करते हो अपने बारे में. आपको लगता है it's a bizarre, you know, your mind starts playing tricks against you. Oh, they are looking at me. Oh, they think I'm a failure. Oh, you stop getting out of the house. But within 15 days I had to go back to the audition circuit, because how do you sustain? ऐसा तो नहीं ऑलवेज कभी कभी आ गई, शाहरुख खान की फिल्म कर ली, लेकिन बैंक अकाउंट जीरो है ना, क्या हो गया उसके बाद. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई आपको somebody is going to provide for you or run your, you know, kitchen. I was back in the audition room and I remember there were guys who were next to me. आप तो शाहरुख खान की फिल्म है, आप यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो, एक फ़ोटो ले लें. और तब सेल्फी वाला कैमरा नहीं आता, तो फ़ोन को टर्न करके
लेना पड़ता था.
अरे ये वो है, अरे ये भी टेस्ट दे रहा है देखना. सो एंड यू फील एज अ स्टिल आई वुड लाइक टू बिलीव कि वो तो तकलीफ होती थी थोड़ी. मैं लेकिन थोड़ा शेमलेस हो गया. मैंने बोला बहुत सर्वाइव करना है. तो एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आई डिड अ लॉट ऑफ म्यूजिक वीडियोज, आई डिड अ लॉट ऑफ एड फिल्म्स. आई डिड दिस फिल्म कॉल्ड बांके की क्रेजी बारात विद मिस्टर संजय मिश्रा, विजय राज, राजपाल यादव. The sweet film didn't work. Did this very rowdy heartland वाली rustic film Carry On कुत्तों. That also somehow didn't, you know, वो independent cinema का यही problem है ना, कि जब तक कोई नया कोई बड़ा बैनर आपको सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा है, it's very difficult to put it out there. और तब OTT का अराइवल हुआ नहीं था. 2014, 15, 16 की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं ये. लेकिन एक मुझे चीज़ रियलाइज़ हुई कि कोई भी काम ना जो आप दिल से करते हो ज़ाया नहीं जाता है. मुझे याद है जब मुझे कैरी ऑन कुत्तों मिली तो मैंने ना उसमें अपनी पूरी जान झोंक दी. एंड इट वाज अ वेरी रस्टिक कैरेक्टर, इट वाज सपोज टू बी इन अ सर्टन वे. बलिया का कैरेक्टर है तो ज़बान उसकी अलग थी, डायलेक्ट अलग था, बॉडी लैंग्वेज अलग थी. लॉस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ वेट, आई कलर्ड माई हेयर. वो जो सड़क के चौराहे में वो जो राउडी खड़े रहते हैं ना, जिनका कुछ उनको पता ही नहीं है क्या करना है, एमलेस है लाइफ में, दैट काइंड ऑफ अ कैरेक्टर. सो आई एम्बॉडीड एवरी पर्टिकुलर character trait that I could think of, I could imagine. And I started going, I went to Lucknow, I started living there, went to Balia to pick up the dialect and stuff like that. So I always believed in, although I'm not a trained actor, but there's this process in my head, I don't know where did that come from, but I follow certain things in my head. For every different character there's a different requirement. ये किया मैंने. एंड वो फिल्म हमने ना बहुत दिल से बनाई थी. और मुझे ऐसा लगता है जो भी काम आप करते हो ना कहीं हर चीज़ का एक छोटा सा ऑडियंस होता है. भले ही वो आपकी ब्लॉकबस्टर ना हो, लेकिन हर फिल्म को हर चीज़ को ना, हर एक पीस ऑफ आर्ट को कहीं ना कहीं उसकी ऑडियंस इन द लॉन्ग रन मिल जाती है. कैरी ऑन कुत्तों को भी मिल गई, बाकी की क्रेजी बारात को भी मिल गई. ऑल्दो दैट डिडंट ब्रिंग मी एनीथिंग अ ग्लोरी काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग और पीपल signing me up for new films or new things. That didn't happen. But the reason I'm telling you about it because उस वक्त यही था यार कि जो आ रहा है पूरी मेहनत से करो. कैरी ऑन कुत्तों डिड मी वन ह्यूज फेवर. I always feel कि यार I'm trying to swim from one continent to another. Whenever I get tired and I'm drowning, there's someone comes and holds my hand and picks me, pulls me out of that. So Carry On Kutto gave me that creative kick ki, okay, let's do something interesting. And let's not be in that zone of quintessential chocolate boy and sweet boy and that space. Let's just try to change the image. And that was not the thought, it was just the character and the story that Ashok Yadav narrated me was so interesting. I was sucked into it. And कई बार वो कहानी आपके किरदार को अपने आप जन्म दे देती है. फिल्म को 2 साल लगा बनने में, 10 मुसीबतें आई रिलीज़ होने में. बट फाइनली इट्स ऑन अमेजोन. पीपल हु हैवंट सीन इट कैन सी इट. वो सुल्तान के 1 हफ्ते पहले रिलीज़ हुई थी. तो 3 दिन आई थिंक मिला था थिएटर में, फिर थिएटर से भी हट गई थी. रिव्यूज़ अच्छे आए थे. बट कमिंग बैक टू द पॉइंट, देन अगेन देयर वाज अ लल आफ्टर दैट, ह्यूज लल आफ्टर कैरी ऑन कुत्तों बागी क्रेजी बारात. And I remember, again, I started doing, again, there was a phase which was really, I was going down and I was in this, not self-doubt, but, when you're constantly feeling low and you don't know how to fight it and come out of it. But there is some...
Because it's been years of that phase going on and not stopping.
It's like आपकी पानी की टंकी से रोज आप पानी निकाल रहे हैं, ठीक है, लेकिन भरा भी तो जाना है ना उससे.
भरा भी तो जाना चाहिए, correct.
You want to give love, but you need to be loved as well, right? And being an actor, I have realized it's not just about the stardom and the money and visibility and everything. When you're consistently working, it's a different thing altogether. And yes, when you do good work, people love you and they give you that adulation and applause and everything. But somehow at that, again, वो एक lull period आया and मेरा कुछ connection है. I lost my dad.
You believe in divine connection?
Yeah. I think we give face to it. Some call it Muhammad, some call it Krishna, some call it Vishnu, some call it Jesus, Buddha, whatever. I think it's one energy. It's just one energy. I feel that. And for me, that there is that energy. And for me, the face of my God is my dad, my grandmother, who again I lost when I was really young. But they had a very important, they were really, close to me. So I always had this conversation ki do something now, figure out, I'm working so hard, what are you doing? I literally had this conversation. I was like, please papa, kuch figure out kar do yaar, kya ho raha hai ye? And I was literally down and out. And the place where I was living in, I didn't like that place. The surroundings I didn't like. I was like, I deserve better. I deliver so good. Why things are not working? And within a month's time, things started working out again. I wouldn't say overnight you become a success, but okay, पहले जहाँ हैंड टू माउथ थे, अब एक रेगुलर चेक आ रहा है, कभी आप ये कर रहे हो, कभी वो कर रहे हो, कभी धीरे धीरे आप अपना फिर से. दैट वाज द टाइम व्हेन आई वाज इन कश्मीर एंड आई गॉट अ कॉल कि आई एम कॉलिंग फ्रॉम संजय दत्त प्रोडक्शन एंड वी आर लुकिंग फॉर एन एक्टर एंड Sanju sir recommended your name. And I was like, Sanjay Dutt? Yeah, he saw your film and he wants to cast you in his film. I was like, huh? Like, somebody must be joking. I came back to Bombay. I didn't call back. I don't know why. And they called, are you busy? I was like, why? No. Are you doing another film? I was like, no. So can you please come and meet us? I was like, हाँ यार, इनसे मिलना था. Oh, they are serious about it. Because उसके पहले ना यार, इतनी कई बार एज एक्टर्स ना, डिस्पाइट डूइंग सो मच वर्क, आपको वो एक थोड़ी सी जिल्लत और ह्यूमिलेशन से जाना पड़ता है. पीपल कैन बी रियली इनसेंसिटिव एंड नॉट सो काइंड. So hello, whoever is listening, be kind and compassionate to people who are starting off or people you think are failing constantly, but give them the benefit of doubt. They're constantly, trying and showing up. Showing up is the most important thing, believe. And most of the times, people can't show up. People don't show up because there's so many insecurities and inner fear and the demons that you fight with. So I came back, I heard the narration. There was Manyata, there was Sanju sir, there was the director of the film. And मेरे अंदर लड्डू फूट रहे because मैं सुन रहा हूँ, मुझे पता है I'm gonna kill this character. But the director of the film was Satya. Look, the thing is, you got a very baby face, like chocolate. But it was Sanju sir and Manyata ma'am who stood and like, nahi, he's a solid actor and he'll be able to pull it off. And that's how I got Prasthanam. And that was a huge pat on my back कि नहीं यार कोई भी काम ना ज़ाया नहीं जाता है. Although again that film didn't work, okay, but it was a big theatrical release. Absolutely, whoever saw the film, I always got really good reviews. Whoever saw the film, they came and cursed me and abused me like you're such a bad person. I was like, it's not me, it's a character. And thank you for abusing me because I was able to make you believe that I'm that person. And I'm poles apart from that person. The person that I portrayed for Prasthanam.
And you have portrayed a lot of such roles where, there's a lot of darkness, negativity, self-doubt, a person who is going into the rut of depression, or, a person who does not believe in himself, wherein your journey is all about self-belief and, staying at it, like showing up is the most important thing. And you did that almost every day, even without having a big commercial success or whatever the yardstick people measure success with, right? So how is it playing these roles which are so unrelatable to you as a human being, as an individual, but yet portraying them? So what is your process, and do these roles sort of change something in you? Do they shift you in some way?
Oh, there's always, I think, a lot of people say that you create characters. I would like to believe you extract those characters from within. So I feel, and I know for sure, you have all those emotions and all those goods and bads and uglies and bitters and not so bitter and neutral and blah, everything inside you. My job as an actor is to go within and tap it and bring it out and how to trigger it. And sometimes it can mess up your own psychology and your own emotional health. But that's a part of the game. And you have to, that's the negotiation that you do. Okay. And also the rewards are magnanimous if you get it. I'm not saying that you're definitely going to get it, but just think about the fact that every time I go to work, I don't feel like that I'm going to work. I'm going to play. I'm a kid inside. Sometimes I have to put a facade of being an adult, but andar se I constantly feel that I'm a kid who's having a good time, who's into this make-believe world. And over the period, I believe I've come to realize that acting is, it's such a special way of being, because just think about it. In one lifetime, you're getting to play so many different characters, and if you're genuinely involved and invested in the stories that you want to, show to the audience, or the characters that you want to. Can I make you feel something through my story and through my character? And if you are able to touch, people's heart and people's emotions.
Right. So it is one thing to externalize that emotion onto others. That can you feel what is the story of this character, through all the darkness and everything. And one is that when you do your research about that character and when you get into that zone, you start empathizing also with that, that kind of a person.
Definitely.
Right? Like if Satya or we are talking about one such person, we might not be having a high regard or, anything of that sort for a very dark character in general. But once you're given that responsibility to bring that character out of yourself, then you do the research and then you start empathizing with the people who fall in that, lot. Let's say playing character of a rapist. So then you do research, you study, and you go through different stories and stuff. So do these stories also change you and make you more compassionate as a person?
I would say I don't have to look outside. I would like to say that for the audience, that character might be the villain, that character might be the hero, that might be, and it's such a old way of defining characters, because humans are there are so many different shades to them. And कई बार क्या होता है कि one person might be a hero for you, but you don't know the other side of that person. There are so many greats, so-called greats, but they have such dark sides. And जब वो खुलता है तो लोगों को लगता है अरे यार this person I always admired. And there are people who जिनके बारे में आपने दुनिया भर से बहुत गलत चीज़ें सुनी, and you've met them and you've interacted with them a couple of times, and maybe more so, and you realize that no, this person is not that bad. So it's such a make-believe, perception-driven life, not just the industry but life as well. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि I don't want to play a hero or a villain. Whatever character you get, you want to humanize it. You want to get to the root of it. Where does this guy come from? What are his insecurities? Leave the dialect, leave the body language, leave the everything aside. Can I get the soul right? I genuinely feel I need to touch the soul. I need to find the soul of the character and make sure that soul becomes a part of my existence for that while, for that point of time. I remember when I was doing Prasthanam, एक शेड्यूल ख़त्म हुआ था, दूसरे शेड्यूल के लिए मैं वापस बम्बई आया था, कुछ 15 दिन का गैप था बीच में. And my sister told me, भाई, I'm getting really off vibes from you. You know, you are very and that character was really off. And that took a toll on my mental and physical health as well after the film got done. But yeah, then you realize ki, okay, this is the... And I'm doing my best, I'm trying my best. I think as time is passing, I'm realizing ki somewhere I'm finding that balance of switch on and switch off. But kahin na kahin mujhe... And I envy those people who can immediately switch on and switch off.
I was just about to come to that.
This is amazing. But मुझे अच्छा लगता है जब मैं अपने आप को इन्वेस्ट करता हूँ अपने कैरेक्टर्स में. मुझे अच्छा लगता है कि जब मैं उस कहानी को जीता रहता हूँ अपने जहन में. फॉर मी इट्स अ बिकॉज देन आई डोंट जस्ट लिव एंड से व्हाट्स देयर ऑन द पेपर. देयर इज अ वर्ल्ड दैट आई हैव क्रिएटेड इन माई हार्ट एंड माई सोल एंड माई माइंड.
So take me through that process of emotionally switching on and off, or being not available. Do you feel guilt of it, or how do you go through that work day or that schedule? Sometimes it's for weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why you're a professional. That's why you get paid. And when you take on a job and maybe you're getting paid an X amount, but it's multiplied by 100 to create that setup and bring other people on board as well, So there's this sense of responsibility that you go with on set. And there are times when you get suppose a tragic news out of the blue, which happened with me a few months ago. And it was 7:30 in the morning. I remember I was shooting for Mumbai Diaries season 2. I got a call that this has happened. And the door opens and the assistant director comes and says, Satya sir, shot ready. And I'm like,
what had happened, if I may ask?
Someone really young passed away in my family.
I'm sorry about that.
I think that's what life is. People come and go. It's sad, but that's a reality. You can't look away from it. And I'm like, okay, क्या हुआ? अच्छा, ओ ये हुआ. Shot ready. Okay, हाँ. I went. And Mumbai Diaries is really known for these long takes. 8 मिनट, 6 मिनट, 7 मिनट. And वो medical language terminologies याद रखना. And again, playing your character in a certain way.
यहाँ पे आप एक underconfident
the guy
doctor,
who's suffering from this thing called imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome का character play कर रहे हो. यहाँ से एक tragic news आ रही है of death. Then you as a human being who is alternating between these states in his mind. What is happening internally, and how do you deliver a shot after that?
You go on set, and I don't know how to articulate this, but when you hear action, something aligns within. I can't articulate it. It's hard to...
I so relate to that, being an anchor for so many years.
Yeah.
And I think, it's very funny. Sometimes when a tragedy happens, that's the day you deliver your best job. At least it has happened with me. The days I'm sick, the days I have had some really bad news, the day I've heard that someone died or that has also happened once with me. that is the day that I have gone and given it all. I don't know what it is. It's not that other times you hold yourself back कि आज मैं नहीं 100% करूँगी. आप हर बार ऐसे ही जाते हो कि मुझे 200% डालना है. क्योंकि I think that's a very artist thing inside of you, you know. You just want to put in your best foot. But जब कुछ ऐसा होता है ना, तब कुछ अंदर से, I don't know, मेरे साथ ऐसा होता है that कुछ एक जो शायद exist नहीं करता है, वो निकल के आ जाता है in the performance. Is what I feel. So what is it with you? And then how do you go back to that conversation with your family again? Or do you switch off for a bit and then you take your time to...
I think, I remember that particular day and then followed a couple of weeks after that. There's a sense of dullness. There's a sense of, because something really bad has happened in the family. But you're there again, at the cost of repeating myself, I'm saying, the professional in you always takes the front seat. And you realize कि भाई, if I'm on set, I'm here to deliver. If I'm at home, let me be at home and deal with the domestic things. If I'm outside chilling with my friends, let me be my friend's friend and listen to him and share my things with him. Also, before I dump my things on him, ask him or ask her, ki, hey, listen, are you ready to, hear? I need to say, share a lot of things. So also giving that space. That is really required, ki switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off. It's really important. Otherwise, there's this famous Rocky Balboa thing. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And then that's what it is. It's not about the victories. It's not about the success. It's not about the awards. It's about all the failures and all the days when you were down and out. The next morning when the sun was rising, did you have the capacity, the strength, the motivation, the discipline to tell yourself, listen, it's a new morning, it's a new day, and I'm going to make the most of it. Maybe my most is this much, but I'm going to make the most of it. Are you doing it? If you're doing it, then it's great.
Right.
I've done that repeatedly. Like, there are days when I couldn't do anything. For me, just stepping out of the house and going for a walk, I was like, ये कर लिया ना, आज का दिन सफल है. And there are days when you 24 घंटे में आपने 22 घंटे काम किया है और वो भी अपने आप में सफल दिन है. तो you have to be kind to yourself. You can't be constantly, people keep saying this one particular thing, be your own superhero. And I think about things when I read things, and I like my solitude. I like to think about stuff when I'm on my own. And one day I was thinking, be a superhero, everyone keeps saying, because ये quotes है ना, एकदम से कोई quote आता है तो हर जगह
हिट कर जाता है.
हाँ, लोग उसको शेयर करते रहते हैं हर जगह. कोई एक चीज़ें ऐसी आती हैं तो. And one day I was like, how do you be your own superhero? And then I realized कि you can't be a superhero because your superhero protects you. You don't look after your superhero. You don't nurture your superhero. You don't scold your superhero. You nurture your child. You look after your child. You scold your child. So I'm saying be your own child. I'm my child. I have a little Satya in me who I need to look after, who I need to pamper, he has his tantrum. So chill kar. So that's how I look at it. I don't want to be my superhero.
That is such a beautiful perspective, Satya, to nurture your own inner child.
That's what I do for a living, I guess. I nurture my inner child.
So this child, I want to talk about the child Satya when he was like 13, 14 of that age. What were his dreams like? How did he used to look at life? He was living in a small city in Bilaspur. And what are the top 3 things that you'd like to say to him now, now that you've seen a fair bit of success?
I wouldn't want to say anything to. I would say कि just जो कर रहा है बस करता जा.
बस कर ले.
And just be a little more kind to yourself when you grow up.
I think that is one mistake that we all have made. No, we're not taught kindness.
I'm really kind to myself now, I'll tell you. But in between my 20s, I was my biggest, because sometimes you block your own blessings. Sometimes because it's okay when the world is things are not working in your favor. When people are not good to you. Or because ये दस्तूर है ना दुनिया का कि आप क्लाइम कर रहे हो, आप सक्सेसफुल हो, तो आपके बेहुदा जोक भी लोगों को फनी लगने लगते हैं. आपका जो शक्ल शायद लोगों को समझ नहीं आती तो बोलते हैं अरे हाँ, there's something about it. आपकी स्टाइल स्टेटमेंट बोलते नहीं नहीं वो ऐसा है, तो हर चीज़ जो आप ऑफ लगती थी वो अब सही लगने लगती है, तो है ना. तो अंडरस्टैंड कि it's a make believe world, I've realized it's matrix, and there are rules, and the game that you want to play, understand the rules and play the game, and don't take it seriously, don't take it too hard, but know कि ये एक हम आए थे और हम जाएंगे. And I've seen so many people passing, no, that's why I'm saying, and I'm not being pessimistic about life. I think I know that tomorrow or day after or 100 years down the line, I might not be there. Definitely, I'm not going to be there. None of us are going to be there, you know.
So as much as we know about it, but experiencing it firsthand in your family, like you said, you've seen so much and so many tragedies and deaths happening in your family, that also transforms you in a certain way. Sometimes it could make you a person who then comes out and says, hey, I have to prove something now. And sometimes you consciously don't know that, but you're constantly trying to prove something and make something of yourself. And more so when you are from a small city, right? Big dreams, coming to a big city and, looking out for yourself and fending for yourself and all of this. So Satya is coming to Bombay and he has grown up seeing all of this, including your father's demise, and coming here. So there's also this kindness that you said that you're not kind to. I wasn't kind to myself between my 20s, and I think most of us are not, because more than the outside world asking or demanding something from us, I think we also, the validation. I think it is also a lot of self-made thing, where you are constantly trying to just prove something to yourself. It could be by earning money, it could be by getting fame, it could be by making friends, it could be by doing whatever, the hell in between, right? To just prove something to yourself that I have arrived. Sometimes the pressure is not as much external as we like to see it. कि बाहर से आ रहा है.
To be honest, nobody gives a damn about.
Yeah. I mean,
everyone is caught up with their own life.
What will my father think? What will my friends think? Oh, my friend bought this car. I want to do this. It's all external that we see around and we feel वहाँ से आ रहा है. लेकिन मुझे अभी realize हुआ अपने 30s में आने के बाद कि this is coming from within you and your own insecurities,
It is, इतनी सारी चीज़ें हम पे थोप दी जाती हैं और unknowingly हम उसे अपने दिमाग पे, दिल पे ले लेते हैं. आपने वो जो मुझसे सवाल किया था ना कि 3 चीज़ें, I think because there were so many tragedies and so many things going off and the financial issues, and because after a point of time there was no male figure in the family. I was the only kid. I was 13 years old, 12 years old when my father passed, and next year my tauji, all 42, 43 kinds. So जब इतना pain होता है और जब I think there was the sense of depression also in the family, कि इतना भरा पूरा परिवार था, कोई नहीं है, खाली बच्चे बचे हैं, and our grandmother and my mom, बाकी ताऊजी, पापा, बुआ, then mama, there's that, so many people, close family, immediate family. तो at that point of time, I don't know कोई और बच्चा होता तो क्या करता. मेरे लिए the biggest, I think I created an alternate universe for me, and that paid me off. It still pays me off, because there was this artist inside, and we all are artists, I guess, I believe, but हम कितना खाना देते हैं उस जानवर को, उसके ऊपर भी डिपेंड करता है ना. तो मेरे लिए वो बहुत बड़ा escape था. और एक चीज़ मुझे realize,
वहाँ से इच्छा शुरू हुई that I want to become an actor.
यार,
I mean, at 12, how much can you really know?
It might sound a little, oh, this guy knows it all, but trust me, before anybody could ask me, before I could rationalize things in my head with logic and practicality, I knew I'm an actor. I didn't want to become an actor. I knew I'm a dancer. I knew I'm an actor. I knew I'm an artist. So I just started walking that path. So जहाँ भी वो प्यार मिलता था और adulation मिलता था, मैं वहाँ भाग जाता था. तो for me, जैसे अभी गणपति चल रहा है, तो I used to make sure कि कहाँ गणपति का पंडाल लगा है, वहाँ जाके हम जाके डांस करेंगे और वहाँ से 101 रुपया, 501 रुपया, 1000 रुपया ये जीत के आएंगे. I remember inter-school dance competition होता था बिलासपुर में, so I used to set the choreography for my school. Then I used to go to the other school and set their choreography. So I've done all these things, and इतना समझ आ गया था कि if I can hold attention of so many people in this small town, I think I'll be able to do it there as well. And I remember there was this photographer friend, कहूँगा मैं उन्हें, बड़े हैं मुझसे, वो पहले मुंबई में काम कर चुके थे. For some reasons he came back to Bilaspur, and he said कि सत्या, I sense some energy in you, तुझे जल्दी से निकल जाना चाहिए यहाँ से. So वो जो अंदर एक झिझक थी कि मैं जाऊँ कि नहीं जाऊँ, हल्की सी जो थी,
वो डाउट भी क्लियर,
हाँ वो डाउट उन्होंने क्लियर कर दिया. ना I was like, मैं तो 10th के बाद आना चाहता था.
अच्छा.
तो हाँ 14 साल की उम्र में, बट मेरी माँ और मुझे जाने नहीं देती.
अकेले? हाँ. इतनी करेज थी?
हाँ, अरे बहुत. मैं अफलातून हूँ बचपन से, मैं कहीं भी चला जाता हूँ. पहाड़ चढ़ जाता हूँ, बंजी कर लूंगा, बाइक उठा के निकल जाऊंगा. आई एम लाइक क्रेजी दैट वे.
Oh, बाइक उठा के निकलने से I just remember that you just got a new
Ducati. Ducati, yeah. Yeah, that's what, na. I've always been fascinated. Like two passions of my life: motorcycling and cinema, art. So, that's.
And we were just talking that you ride alone in the night.
I love that.
You don't have a gang, but you like to have your me time on your bike.
It's therapeutic. It's like, it's meditation. It's, you get out, you're riding, and ऐसे हवा पड़ रही है आपके मुंह में, and आप कुछ नहीं सोच रहे.
Is it also a way of disconnecting from whatever else is in life? And how important is disconnection?
It is important.
From everything else for you?
It is important. I don't want to constantly feed my mind with 1,000 thoughts, and it's very important to go blank and go be consciously, just leave everything. And I think it's a superpower to have that, because that way, वो muddy water जब clear होता है, तब आप देख सकते हैं कि सतह में क्या है, उसके foundation में क्या है. अगर हमेशा there's this cloud of thoughts, and there's constantly we are filling the space with words and conversations, and ये किताब और कौन सी फिल्म है और किसने क्या कहा और कौन सी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का क्या स्टैंड है और क्या नेशनल है, क्या एंटी नेशनल है, क्या बॉयकॉट है और क्या क्या है, ये 100 चीज़ें चलती रहती हैं, तो आपके दिमाग का दही हो जाएगा. आपकी सोल में रेस्टलेसनेस बनी रहेगी. आई फील फॉर मी टाइम टू टाइम, ठीक है, व्हाट कैन आई चेंज, व्हाट इज़ माई केपेबिलिटी ऑफ डूइंग सो you every time you go within, I think if we have the capability of going within every now and then on a daily basis also, I think that's the biggest blessing one can have, because all the answers that you get is from within. I never got any. So for the longest time, you talk about, look for a godfather in the industry or mentor or guru. I tried looking for people, and I always disappointed. I was constantly disappointed, because gone are the days when people used to nurture talent and back someone. It hasn't happened with me, I'll be very honest. And I used to be extremely grateful to people. अरे आपने मुझे realize हुआ कि boss, I fit the part, that's why I got it. And sometimes I haven't even, I could have, they could have paid me an X amount, but I was so overtly, I got this job. So I said yes to, कि अगर जहाँ मुझे इतना मिल सकता था, मुझे इतना मिला, क्योंकि I was being too nice. And then I realized कि I deliver, as I'm a service provider.
Right,
yes, I'm an artist as well, but I'm providing you. तुम्हें 20 चाहिए होता है, मैं तुम्हें 22 देता हूँ. वो मेरा पॉलिसी है लाइफ का. I'll come on set, I'll give you so much कि you'll be like, हाँ यार, इससे तो इतना एक्सपेक्ट किया था, एक्सपेक्टेशन के बियॉन्ड किया.
Recently, मुझे Sabas Joseph, I don't know if you know him or not. Sabas told me this thing recently. So he got me for a very big event, which was Har Haath Tiranga government event, and a very large format event. A lot of people in a stadium, and performances and things like that. Delhi government being involved and stuff. So I was very grateful to him that thank you for giving me this opportunity. I mean, I'm really grateful to you. So he said, no, I gave it to you because you have it in you. And that's when I realized that we externalize the gratitude so much. Sometimes we just need to bring it back home also and tell yourself that, dude, you deserve it. Nobody is giving you any free lunches. And it's really amazing of him to make me realize that. And he said, and any other jobs that you get after that, it's all because you deserve it. Which is such a beautiful thing for him to say to me. And that made me look inside me that, right. We need to internalize also this gratitude as much as we externalize it.
Exactly.
And as much as we say, paper pe likho, kya mila, wo mila, ye hua, all of that is okay. But at the end of the day, whether it's something positive or negative happening outside of you, in the world, could be your circumstances, could be whatever. But only thing that is making its connection with you is how you personalize it, right? And when you personalize something very negative, you feel that मेरी वजह से हो रहा है, मैं कर रही हूँ, guilt है, shame है. And when you and you can similar way personalize the positive things also, you know, but you don't. You're like, ये उनकी वजह से हो रहा है, उन्होंने किया, इन्होंने दिया, but to
exactly
come
the
to
same thing I think Sanju sir told me while Prasthanam mein. Every second day I used to feel it is sometimes surreal यार कि मैंने पहली फिल्म थिएटर में देखी थी खलनायक. खलनायक की स्टारकास्ट संजय दत्त, जैकी श्रॉफ, माधुरी दीक्षित. यहाँ पे Sanjay Dutt is playing your father, Jackie Shroff is your chacha, there's Manisha Koirala you've been fan of, she's your mother, there's so your best friend is playing your older brother, so everything is like universe ने conspire किया कि हाँ best of the people I'm going to put in your life and you've been fan of these people, you know. And I used to tell this to Sanju sir कि sir I'm really grateful you gave me this opportunity when I needed it the most, because more than money, more than anything else, it was just that validation कि yes you're a good actor and I'm not giving you just any part, it's a he's the soul of the film and I'm giving you that part, and someone trusting you with that kind of an opportunity. Film का चलना ना चलना is a different thing. And he told me again and again, तू ये thank you बोलना बंद कर because तू है अच्छा इसलिए काम मिल रहा है. तो फिर मैंने ये उस वक्त यही समझा कि बॉस अब इतना अच्छा बन जाओ कि दुनिया आ जाए कदमों पे, और कर सकते हैं यार, हम सब कर सकते हैं. वी ऑल आर सो स्पेशल एंड यूनिक इन आवर ओन वे दैट नोबडी नीड्स टू कम्पीट विथ एनीवन. बट द फैक्ट इज़ द सोसाइटी का जो कंडीशनिंग है और हम अपने ऊपर जो इतने थॉट्स और जो बोझ डाल के रखते हैं, वी आर ऑलवेज मिमिकिंग थिंग्स. इसका ये हो रहा है तो मैं भी ये कर लेता हूँ, इसका. इफ़ यू go within, again we are talking about going within, you go within, you find your truest self and you expose it to the world. I think that is the best thing you can do to yourself and to the universe and to the people, I guess. And I'm still in that journey of bringing out the best possible Satya from within.
And it's going to be one hell of a great ride, because once you're connected with your own inner self and once you're connecting with something larger than just a role, just a movie, just a craft or whatever, between all of this, you also find your purpose. So Satya, have you been able to find your purpose so far, or is it still a quest for you?
Yeah, there are few things. There are definitely few things which are there in my, which are very personal to me that needs to be done. But it's one step after another. As an artist, I definitely, as I told
No, are you talking about goals or your purpose? Because I truly feel those two things are separate.
If I succeed in my goals, they will help me to, actualize my purpose. I genuinely feel so.
Absolutely.
क्योंकि आप अपने बेसिक सॉर्ट आउट करोगे तो उसके थोड़ा यू राइज अबव दैट, देन यू सॉर्ट आउट अनदर थिंग फॉर योर सेल्फ, देन यू राइज अबव दैट.
So goals are one thing, Satya, but I feel purpose is something else. Your goals could be a means to get you closer to your purpose, but your purpose is something different. Definitely. And it's, I think, much larger than any goal can ever be. So what is it for you? Have you been able to identify it?
Oh yes, long back I felt it, and I think you cannot logically find your purpose. You need to listen to your inner self, where your heart, gets a pull towards one particular thing, and then you somehow you see it, you see the image of it, and then वो धीरे धीरे वहाँ रास्ता बनता जाता है. तो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो पर्पस थोड़ा पर्सनल है, तो देखता हूँ मैं कॉन्वर्सेशन में उसे शेयर कर पाऊँगा कि नहीं कर पाऊँगा. बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि किसी भी इंसान का पर्पस ये होता है कि ठीक है, गोल ये होता है कि एक जीवन में सफलता मिले, आप बेसिक्स आपके सॉर्टेड हों, आप थोड़ी कंफर्ट हो आपकी ज़िंदगी में. एज एन आर्टिस्ट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आई नीड टू बी इन अ स्पेस वेयर आई डोंट वांट टू जस्ट वर्क एज एन एक्टर बट ऑल्सो हैव अ फिल्म लैब काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग where we can keep experimenting and making interesting cinema which is commercially viable as well. I don't want to be functioning just as an actor. I know I'm a storyteller as well. I might direct, I might produce. I don't want to add might to it. I will definitely
manifest it right here on this couch.
Yeah. I've done that and I'm doing it again. Hello. Yeah.
Okay. Higher powers.
Yeah, higher powers.
All ears.
So that is there because there are stories, there are so many stories which are living inside me, and I keep scribbling things on the notepad and my diary and stuff like that. So that is there. Want to become a better version of me every day as I'm, as the days are passing by. And purpose is ki yaar, I don't know, but before you leave this
Body.
if I'm able to make my life good, better, best, that's amazing. That's what we are here for, right? But before I leave this, if I am able to make a lot of lives better and enrich them, not just in terms of entertainment, but I'm saying कि मैं थोड़ा इसको लॉजिकली अलग अभी ये बहुत समय से हम सुनते आ रहे हैं ना, the riches of the world, they are becoming richer and the poor is becoming poorer. So there has to be एक flow नहीं है ना, कहीं तो कुछ flow रुक रहा है. तो if I'm able to make immense amount of whatever kind of wealth, artistic wealth or financial wealth or intellectual wealth, whatever the wealth could be, different
fields.
But pass it on, help people. Because क्या है यार, तुम अडानी हो या अंबानी हो या दुबे हो या कोई भी हो, तुम्हारी भूख तो उतनी है ना. It's the desire, it's constantly, वो desires कभी ख़त्म नहीं होते. That's what बुद्धा ने कहा था ना, कि आपके desires इतने अनलिमिटेड हैं कि आपको कभी संतुष्टि मिलेगी नहीं. तो मेरा ये कहना है कि अगर मेरी भूख 2 रोटी की है और मेरे घर में 10 रोटी पड़ी है, तो चलो मैं 4 खा लूँगा, ओवर ईट कर लूँगा, लेकिन बाकी मैं क्यों सड़ने दूँ.
और उस 4 का भी फिर भुगतान आपको ही करना है, ओवर ईट का.
तो क्यों, कैन आई सॉर्ट माई लाइफ आउट एंड see in the society how I can make things better for other people. When I see kids on the roads and I'm like, they don't deserve to be here, and a lot of people say कि ये कर्मा है ये. I was like, यार मैं spiritual हूँ, मेरे को ये सारी चीज़ समझ आती है, लेकिन ये नहीं, no kid deserves to be there. And sometimes I also look away because I'm like, you can't deal with it every day, because when it really pierces through your heart, it's every day, you can't see that face to face, but it's a gentle reminder every now and then ki, okay, you make a name for yourself, you do what you want to do, you live your dreams, but do something which is beyond you, beyond your just this flesh and blood and the dreams and desires you have. Beyond that, so serve. I would say a lot of people say ki, I want to help. Who are you to help? Who the hell are you to help? I'm saying, when you arrived, you came out naked and crying out of your mother's womb. You're going to go like that. If you are evolved enough, you might say ki, thank you, and you'll go. And most of the time people are like, oh, I don't want to die, and they die. So my right now also, one struggle is ki, whenever that happens, I'm like, can I just embrace it instead of fighting it? And I'm not being negative about things. I'm just trying to see everything from a perspective ki change is the only constant. It's inevitable. You can't look away from it. And that's how I'm looking at things. Like there are so many things that needs to be done. So sometimes मुझे लगता है कि there is so much to give. The right kind of opportunities needs to come really soon, so that I can, I let people exploit that thing, that talent that I have.
I have a very simple theory about this purpose and goals. So goals is largely what you want in life. So it's basically whether you want to accomplish it, whether you want to be it, whatever it is. So it's largely about taking. I've come to this world and what can I take? Like I want to buy this house, I want to marry that person, I want to travel to this location, whatever. Your goals are largely take, and there's nothing wrong with taking something or absorbing something from the world that you've come into, right? But your purpose is larger than that. Your goals could be a means, those take you closer to your purpose, but your purpose lies, it lies in serving, it lies in helping others, it lies in contributing to others. So it's a very simple give and take theory. So all that you take is your goals, and all that service mindset or giving it out, that is your purpose. And you could give out in any way, like you said, artistic wealth, financial wealth, in any form you can define it. But as long as that intent of contribution is there, I think we're going to leave this world a better place than we found it.
Just think about it, na, ki today if you listen to a Muhammad Ali speaking, or you see a Charlie Chaplin clip, or you read about some great artist or a great revolutionary, Bruce Lee, और विवेकानंद. So many greats from our own country, from
We were
our
talking
own
about
land,
autobiography of a yogi before.
I'm saying कि those people have left. The physical form is not there anymore, but they are alive. They are so alive कि ठीक है आपके physical self के dissolve होने के बाद भी, and that's what life is. So I think the purpose is also to figure out the best possible way to live beyond your life. To live, like, people still talk about Buddha. What was Buddha? Who was Buddha? पिन पॉइंट करके कोई बता नहीं सकता सारी चीज़ें. हम कहते हैं कि हाँ हिस्ट्री में ये मिला है. आई लाइक टू रीड अबाउट हिस्ट्री एंड नो हिस्टोरिकल कैरेक्टर्स, और एलेक्जेंडर और चंगेज़ खान और अशोका द ग्रेट और सो मेनी पीपल. दे मस्ट हैव डन समथिंग कि उनकी एनर्जी आज तक रेजोनेट कर रही है. लोग जानते हैं उनके बारे में. हज़ारों साल हो गए उन बातों को. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि, और हर कोई नहीं कर सकता वो.
Right.
आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ें अंदर ना, immense amount of self belief, but going beyond that, going within. वो कहाँ से आता है, कैसे आता है, उसका जवाब तो नहीं है किसी के पास, लेकिन क्वेस्ट तो वही है.
राइट.
क्वेस्ट
और वो
खाली
बहुत समझ में भी नहीं आता है जब एक क्वेस्ट किसी का होता है. एंड लाइक यू सेड, यू रीड अ लॉट अबाउट हिस्ट्री एंड यू नो, आई ऑल्सो लाइक टू रीड. और जब आप ये इतना पढ़ते हैं और इन कहानियों को पढ़ना शुरू होते हैं, तो यू ऑल्सो इवॉल्व इन अ वे वे यू ड्रॉप अ लॉट ऑफ जजमेंट, यू ड्रॉप अ लॉट ऑफ नेगेटिविटी. लाइक अगर आप बुद्धा की स्टोरी की बात करें, तो अगर इमेजिन करो आज की लाइफ में देयर इज अ किंग एंड यू आर डूइंग एवरीथिंग एंड यू सडनली डिसाइड टू लीव योर फैमिली एंड यू वांट टू गो ऑन दिस क्वेस्ट व्हिच ओनली यू अंडरस्टैंड इन योर हेड एंड यू आर नॉट इवन एबल टू आर्टिकुलेट इट. You're just putting one line to it that I want to find what is the purpose of my life.
Yeah.
Why am I here? Who am I? And all of that.
Yeah.
It's not making any sense. So if anybody, suppose your sister's husband does that today, you'll be like, are you nuts? What is wrong with you? What kind of a human being are you? You leave a family like that, and you know, and here we are reading books about a man who did exactly that. So when you see that all of this journey towards something larger, where you're contributing in such a big way that years after, decades or centuries after your death, you're remembered and you're revered and you're preyed upon and things like that. But you also walk through a path which is, even today we have so much judgment about if someone does that, right? So these stories somewhere make you drop a lot of judgment about people.
It does, definitely.
You know, anything is right, everything is right, nothing is wrong, or everything is wrong. There's nothing absolute in this world.
I would say, as long as you're not consciously, unknowingly, knowingly hurting anyone, causing any kind of harm, any sort of thing which is bringing
You
the
know,
other
sometimes you
person.
cause that harm also, because I'm sure Buddha was also aware that I'm leaving my family. They would be grieving, or nobody wants their head of the family to leave like that, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to also cause that little discomfort around
I mean,
yourself.
उनके लिए
But as
उनको-
long as you are clear,
Yeah, उनकी
आपके
जिंदगी
समझ में
में-
होना चाहिए.
गौतम का नाम सिद्धार्थ था, करेक्ट?
करेक्ट.
तो जब सिद्धार्थ प्रिंस थे, तब उनको उनके बाप, जो राजा थे उस प्रजा के, वो चाहते नहीं थे कि वो किसी की मौत देखें. वो चाहते नहीं थे कि जिंदगी की कोई भी तकलीफ देखे. तो एक बार वो अपने रथ में जा रहे थे, ऐसी है ना वो कहानी की, उन्होंने
exactly.
एक वृद्ध व्यक्ति को देखा, और
ये
कौन है? अरे ये तो मर जाएगा कुछ दिनों में. अच्छा, जिंदगी ये होती है. और ही वेंट बैक एंड ही कॉन्टेम्पलेटेड एंड ही रैन अवे. तो उनको ऑलरेडी वो मिल चुका था, इतना कुछ, वो ग्लोरी और वो राजकुमार होना और इतने पैसे एंड एवरीथिंग एंड एनीथिंग एट योर डिस्पोजल. तो बोला ये तो है ही नहीं, ये तो सब जाना है, इसके बियॉन्ड क्या है. वो छोटी छोटी मात्राओं में एक लेबर क्लास इंसान जो बिहार छोड़ के या एक यूपी का कोई शहर छोड़ के या छत्तीसगढ़ का कोई छोटा सा गांव छोड़ के एक बड़े शहर में जाता है, उसका भी यही क्वेस्ट है कि मैं बड़े शहर में जाके कैसे अपनी इनकम करूं, अपने बच्चों को. जैसे जब मैं अपना शहर छोड़ के जा रहा था, एंड देयर सो मेनी पीपल, यंग एक्टर्स, यंग आर्टिस्ट्स, आई रिमेंबर अ लॉट ऑफ माय क्लासमेट्स लाइक, अरे हीरो बनने जा रहा है, अरे क्या करने जा रहा है बॉम्बे, अरे तू 2 साल में वापस आ जाएगा. Even sometimes your own family. I think that in that way, my grandmother, my mom, they were really confident कि ये है, पागल है, ये कुछ करेगा जाके अच्छा. But so many people around you, the constant chatter is कुछ होगा नहीं, ये वो. आप उनके लिए आप सनकी और पागल हो कि ये क्या सब छोड़ जा. हाँ, यहाँ नाच लिया, यहाँ 10 लोगों को एंटरटेन कर लिया, इसका मतलब ये है कि तुम बम्बई में भी जाके नाम कर लोगे. तो वो तो हमेशा रहता है. लेकिन हाँ, किस लेवल ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसी में आप थ्राइव कर रहे हैं, वाइब कर रहे हैं, दैट विल ऑल्सो डिसाइड द आउटकम. So the constant, I wouldn't say the struggle, the constant endeavor is to thrive in the best possible frequency.
How do you elevate your frequency, Satya? What do you do?
You need to be extremely aware and watchful of what are the kind of thoughts that you are entertaining. That is one thing. Second thing, you know your negatives. You always know your negatives. Try to cut out as much as you can. And yes, sometimes you have to एम्ब्रेस की यार एक दो चीज़ें जो है वो तो हैं. कोई भी बिल्कुल ऐसा संत महात्मा नहीं है जो आज की दुनिया में तो यू फाइंड योर वॉट एवर, ये मेरी कमियां हैं, ठीक है, ये ठीक है, लेकिन मैं हर जगह अपने आप को परफेक्ट कर सकता हूँ. परफेक्ट तो पॉसिबल नहीं है, लेकिन बेहतर होने की कोशिश हो सकती है, तो फिर आप उसमें लगते हो. आई ऑल्सो फील कि टू मैनिफेस्ट थिंग्स, to look better, to sound better, to people call it an aura. I feel it's about how you feel yourself. When you talk about someone, oh, looking great, more than looking great, how you feel within it reflects in your eyes, on your face, on your being. I also feel you constantly need to मैं इस घर पे नहीं रहता हूँ, मैं किसी बंगले में नहीं रहता हूँ, आप अपने शरीर में रहते हैं, इस बॉडी में रहते हैं, तो आप उसका कैसे ख्याल रख रहे हैं. कॉस्मेटिक्स की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि व्हाट डू यू डू फॉर योर बॉडी इन टर्म्स ऑफ आर यू मूविंग इट इनफ. बिकॉज कोई भी गाड़ी आपके गैराज में भी खड़ी रहती है तो उसमें जंग लग जाती है. यू नीड टू कीप मूविंग योर बॉडी, यू नीड टू डू समथिंग फॉर योर बॉडी, समथिंग फॉर योर माइंड, समथिंग फॉर योर सोल. एंड वी ऑल नो इट, आई गेस ऑल ऑफ अस वी नो इट, बट वी डोंट डू इट. माई कोशिश, माई एफर्ट इज दैट on a daily basis I do something where I'm indulging in something which is gonna feed my soul. I'm indulging in something which feeds my physical well-being, something which is cerebral, which is giving me some cerebral stimulation, that kind of thing. So you need to be aware also ki if you feel about one particular circumstance or one particular person or event कि ये सही नहीं लग रहा है तो मत करो. If you are in touch with yourself, every time I've gone away from my gut feeling, from my inner voice, अच्छा नहीं हुआ वो. Every time I followed it and everyone around me was telling me, it doesn't make sense, why are you doing it? It always made sense. So over the period, and people might call you whatever they want to call. But I think right now today I don't want to, as much as I want कि मैं तुम्हारी नसीहत ले लूँगा या तुमसे advice ले लूँगा, but eventually it's your inner voice that guides you in every possible thing in life.
To have that courage to listen to your inner voice, sometimes I think the lacking is there.
I think वो confidence आपको वो खुद के ऊपर self belief कमाना पड़ता है, और उसके लिए कई बार आप मुंह के बल भी गिरते हैं.
काफी बार गिरते हो.
हाँ,
तभी आता है वो. तभी तो लगता है ना कि यार अब मैं गिर भी जाऊंगा तो मैं समझ जाऊंगा. इतना मुझे पता है.
You're so prone to it. You're so trained. You've trained yourself so much that कि हाँ, पहले suppose if you're not a runner but you start running, the very first day it's very difficult to complete even 2 kilometers. But when
200 meters.
200 meters. But when you keep pushing yourself again and again, you realize, oh, 10 हो गए, पता नहीं चला, अभी भी कर रहा हूँ. So वही है ना कि प्रैक्टिस, कीप प्रैक्टिसिंग, द पावर ऑफ
प्रैक्टिस के साथ दोस्ती करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. हम लोग प्रैक्टिस के साथ जब तक फाइट करते रहेंगे ना, कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, नहीं होगा, इतना नहीं हो रहा, उतना नहीं हो रहा, तो वो नहीं होगा. जब आप उस प्रैक्टिस के साथ दोस्ती कर लेते हो ना, व्हेन यू मेक फ्रेंड्स विद इट कि जितना हो रहा है सही हो रहा है, एंड हाउ कैन आई जस्ट बेटर माई सेल्फ, द नेक्स्ट डे माई टारगेट इज जस्ट टू बी बेटर देन वॉट आई वॉज येस्टरडे, उतना ही सोच के चलो, तो आई थिंक इट जस्ट सॉर्ट्स आउट थिंग्स फॉर यू.
आई रेड इट समवेयर, आई थिंक 90%, most of the times, I think 90% is just showing up. 90% of your success is constantly showing up. And then things will click somehow.
I mean, your journey itself is a testimony to that, right? You just kept showing up, one flop after the other, and, going through a financially tough time, trying to just make ends meet, expectations from yourself, others, a mother at home, and all of that, right? But all you did was just show up.
But you know what? अगर 2 साल पहले, 3 साल पहले के सत्या से आप पूछते, वो कहता, but I don't look at it from the perspective of flop. I genuinely feel कि
No, I'm just talking about the commercial,
from
how
the
it
commercial
translates
aspect.
for you in
But yeah, I
commercially
don't
in
want
your
to
life.
attach myself to the to the material, the commercial tags that the world wants to give.
I mean, as
Yeah.
much as you want to disassociate with it, but it runs your house, right? And when there is so less, and when you're commercially not doing well, then obviously it's a struggle to just make the ends meet, right?
Yeah.
And then life forces you to kind of think about it.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that you go completely materialistic about money and all of that. That is to each his own. Somebody wants to go that way, their choice, and absolutely respect it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, to each his own circumstances and how,
Yeah.
what's their conditioning and
Yeah.
how they see their life and how they feel successful. For some people, the yardstick, their personal yardstick for success is only money.
Yeah.
And I mean, to each his
Survival.
own.
Yeah.
To each his own,
Yeah.
right? Who are we to say that, oh, no, this is not the yardstick
No,
that you should be?
definitely. I think, yeah, that's what we spoke about, dropping the judgment. Any sense of preconceived notions about anybody's life. हाँ, जो सही कर रहा है, as long as you're not hurting, harming anyone. But yeah, for me, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था, कि for the longest time there was this sense of being a failure, कि यार इतनी बड़ी फिल्म मिली, चली नहीं, और आप अपने ऊपर लेने लगते हैं उसको कि, but then you realize for a film to work on such a big level or anything, there's so many things that comes in place. You're just a small part of the puzzle. Yes, being the actor and sometimes being the face of that project, आपको सबसे ज़्यादा एडुलेशन आपको ही मिलता है जब कोई चीज़ चल जाती है. तो थैंक गॉड ये रियलाइजेशन हुआ कि it's a team effort, it's collaboration. Everyone needs to come together and give their everything. And most of the times, 95%, 90% doesn't work. But also one thing I've realized, the joy is in the process. Every day, am I having a great time talking to you? Yes. When I'm going to go away from here, I'm going to chill with my family, I'm going to have a great time. Yes. Between action and cut, the kind of characters that I'm doing, the stories that I'm trying to tell, am I having a great time? Hell yes. Even when I do a film which is really causing me a lot of pain inside, emotional pain, so to say, a difficult experience. But am I in that pain also, am I having a great time? Yes, I am. So basically, I believe life is constantly, we are looking out for magic. We want to experience magic. We want to create magic. We want to be loved. We want to love. We want to go to the mountains to experience that magic. We want to be loved to experience that magic. Sometimes you just meditate and you experience that magic. Sometimes you go for a bike ride, you experience that magic.
Right.
Sometimes you just sit next to your mother and you keep your head on her lap and you're like, सब ठीक हो जाएगा ना? हाँ, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. That is magic. Sometimes just holding your cat and like, that is like magic is everywhere. Are we ready to address it and say, hey, you're there, come, like that? So मैं कुछ ज़्यादा बोल गया, but I think
नहीं, I think बहुत सही बात है that embrace करना नहीं करना is our choice. उसको देखना नहीं देखना is our choice. But I think it's all around us. In
Magic
littlest
is
of the
there, yeah.
things, in biggest of the achievements. Sometimes, in fact, it's not there in the biggest of the achievements.
Yeah.
You do a great job and you're like, यार पता नहीं शायद
हाँ.
इतना होता है ना कभी कभी
बिल्कुल
ऐसा भी
है.
होता है. So I think it's to each his own again, and to have that inner awareness, self-awareness to sort of address it, to recognize it, to notice it, to
Yeah.
name it, to celebrate it, to
Yeah.
experience it, and then keep that experience with yourself. I think
Yeah.
that is what is the journey all about.
Yeah. I mean, having a good time, yeah. We are not here for a long time. I genuinely believe that. And somewhere knowing the fact that we are not here for a long time, we are just mortal beings, and I think being immortal would be a curse because you're here for forever.
Forever, imagine that.
तो फिर, I mean, that's a curse, and it's such a blessing that you're not here forever, and that gives you the kick to get up in the morning and do. I'm not saying chase or run after things. I'm saying to do what you want to. Like for me, I want to reach to the widest of the audience, and it's coming from a place of love because there's so much to give as an artist. अब आप उस पे टैग लगाओ स्टारडम का या सबसे बड़े स्टार का या इसका
कौन से प्रोडक्शन का है या क्या है,
ये उसके परत दर परत उसमें अलग अलग कंडीशन अलग अलग परतें होंगी और लोगों की कंडीशनिंग है, लेकिन the thing is कि there's a light inside and I want to illuminate in such a way कि everyone sees it because I've got just this whatever 60 70 80, I might be the Satyajeet Dubey might be the oldest living. Once upon a time I was 32 when I was so like that, and I'll be, oh, Satya died at the age of 145. तब तक दुनिया पता नहीं कहाँ होगी.
चलो ये भी मैनिफेस्ट कर लिया जिस
No,
couch में.
I'm just मैं क्या है, मैं बात करता हूँ तो फिर मेरे दिमाग में I'm like हर जगह मैं ड्राइंग करता रहता हूँ कॉन्वर्सेशन करते करते. तो no,
a guy who manifests, a guy who shows up, a guy who believes in himself like nobody else, a guy who is very clear about where he's going, why he's going, what he's expecting out of it, a guy who knows his priorities. I think, Satya, you've come a really long way
Very
from
sweet.
where you started.
Yeah.
A young boy just coming to a city to make it big and just constantly being at it.
I'm
I mean,
still
more
a
power to
young
you.
boy who's trying to make it big.
We all are, aren't we?
I think, yeah, I don't want to move away from that.
You know what, Satya? Funnily, so I today feel the youngest that I've ever felt. I haven't felt this young in my teens. I mean, that's such a sad thing to also say, but it's also such a great blessing if you look at it this way. I'm having the most time. I'm doing anything to everything that is just an extension of me. Now, it might come in different faces.
Yeah.
It might appear as a podcast. Sometimes it could be donning the hat of a coach. Sometimes it could be yoga. Sometimes it could be anchoring or hosting events. And whatever the hell it may be, for me, I'm in a space where everything that I'm doing is just an extension of me.
Yeah.
It's just who I am. If I'm having a conversation with you right now, we have no scripts, we have no questions, we have no preparation going on. It's just who we are. And that is the honest intent with which I want to put out these honest and candid conversations. And these are the journeys and these are the real conversations from where I think people, and especially the youngsters, can have a lot to take from and learn from. Because I think when we are younger, we put so much pressure on ourselves, and more often than not, we think it's coming from our parents, or it's coming from somebody else, or it's
Sometimes
coming from...
it does, huh?
Maybe. But how we take it and how we respond to it, and after a while, once you are an adult, I think it then becomes your individual journey. And for you to work on yourself, to heal yourself, that becomes your pursuit then. I mean, it should become your pursuit. I feel after a point in time, you cannot blame your upbringing for your behavior, positive or negative, both.
I'll be very honest. I can't stand, because I come from a space, and I'm saying it with a lot of love and with a lot of, what is the word? I can't stand victim mentality. I just can't. I know, okay, I've gone through, as family, we've seen some really, really bad times. Really bad times. And I don't want to get into the details of that in terms of constantly people going away and, the financial crisis and this and that. And mera escape tha art. And that's how I survived. And that's why I'm sitting over here. So I started therapy, a couple of years ago. And my therapist said, this is magic. I was like, why? So you could have been in a different space altogether completely, but there's this alternate universe that you created, and you believed in it so much that is your reality now. But do me a favor now, break that wall and that imaginary world and your real pain and the demons and the insecurities and the sorrow that you feel, the grief that you feel, let it merge now. Heal it. I think वो not सभी भी हैं, तो the constant process of healing is still on. But that shouldn't hinder my joy. That shouldn't hinder my growth.
Exactly. Like what you said about victim mentality, I really like that, because after a point in time, you have to sort of own it, and you have to have that awareness. And if it's not coming from within you, then you need to listen to people, or get yourself a therapist, or surround yourself with people who tell you that enough, and then you take the responsibility. Okay, yes, I've had a tough childhood. Okay, I've had a parent who was like this. Okay, I've had this experience in my life which was nasty, which shaped my thought. Let's say talk about being possessive. Some people are overtly obsessive and possessive about their loved ones in their life, and that comes across as a very negatively portrayed trait in their relationships. But you can't keep blaming this because my father did that too. But now you're an adult and you've got to heal yourself, and you have to take that responsibility. And if that healing is not happening, you have to maybe tap more within yourself and see how that healing will happen.
Exactly.
Whether I'll go through the route of a therapist, or a medical intervention is required, or I'm having some personality disorder, whatever whatever that may be. But you can't blame it on your upbringing
You
after
can't.
a point.
You shouldn't.
I mean, you shouldn't, because then you limit your experience as a human being. You confine that I can be only this because I've come from this, then these are my traits. You've predefined everything. You're not leaving a room for you to be who you are here to be.
Yeah.
Which is that your true self, which is absolutely naked, which is a child who has come into this world and who's going to go just the same way, right? You don't leave the room for that to blossom and grow. So I think that is also very, very important.
But I'll tell you, sometimes now, जैसे for the longest time, it worked for me for a few sessions therapy, but it didn't work for me. It wasn't doing anything, and I went on and I was like, I'm just spending money. It's not making any sense to me. Then you have to look within, and I guess it's very important to be. I looked for a mentor or a guru or a best friend outside constantly. Everything is within. You are your biggest motivational speaker. I speak to myself like I'm my biggest cheerleader.
Like nobody.
I criticize
I do that all
myself
the
as if
time.
I'm my biggest critic. I love myself as nobody can love me the way I love myself. I'm my guru. I teach myself. You have to constantly keep doing that. I don't want to look outside for validation. Not any. I want a lot of love. Audiences love. I want to do some great work so that, I'm able to show this gift that I've got. And I'm genuinely, I believe in it, and I know this is a beautiful gift that needs to be. And coming to the point, we all have those gifts. It's important to understand those gifts, and that will really help you to come out of that victim mentality. And then again, it's a very cliched thing. It's a very simple thing, but most of us, we don't do it. Do something for your mind. Do something for your body. Do something for your soul. See कि कैसे आपकी इर्द गिर्द जितनी भी problems है ना, negativity वो चली जाएगी. I've had instances where I had to deal with some really badtameez people in my workplace. So I made sure, and I don't like confrontation. I don't like tu tadak. I don't like bad language being exchanged. It really puts me off. As much as I can be aggressive, I can be really, dominating alpha kind of a, but thank God I was brought up by women who are so amazing in my family. I like to, okay, can we just figure it out, be nice about things, but certain people are not. Then that made me realize that, okay, it shouldn't affect me. What do I need to do? I need to raise my vibration. How do I raise my vibration? I get up before, say, if I have to show up at work at 7, I get up at 4. I open myself physically, each and every cell, each and every, the blood flow in my body is so amazing that I'm feeling great. Some amount of mindfulness. I know these things are you must have heard it again and again, but it really helps. It elevates your confidence. It elevates your belief in you, in yourself. It elevates your quality of output, that you deliver. And what are here for? We are here to deliver things in the best possible way. एक इंजीनियर अगर एक आर्किटेक्ट अच्छा घर डिज़ाइन नहीं कर रहा है तो फिर वो क्या कर रहा है? अगर एक इंजीनियर ढंग का काम नहीं कर रहा तो एक डॉक्टर अगर आपको बोलेगा कि यार डेंटिस्ट आपका अरे यार सॉरी आज गलती हो गई, मेरा अच्छा दिन नहीं था, तुम्हारा दांत यहाँ लगाना था यहाँ लगा दिया, जो भी है. So you can't have those excuses. Come what may, you'll meet some really you'll have bad experiences in your not so pleasant experiences in your professional life also. But the fact that अगर आप उसी level पे stoop down कर जाओगे तो what is the difference? Let's do them the favor and show them how amazing you are and rise above that.
Rise above that.
And it is human to be, to be affected and bothered, but that means something is triggering you, and something is triggering you, that means यहाँ पे growth का बहुत chance है. चलो घर जाके grow करते हैं अभी जो बीज बोगे धीरे उसको पानी डालोगे, ये करोगे, तभी तो पेड़ बनेगा. So it's very important to address these things. Like I still have so many triggers, and I'm working my ass off to diminish it and to extinguish it.
I think all of us are going to be a work in progress all our life. Self-healing, self-growth, your inner illumination, all of this is like always a work in progress. Don't you think so?
Constantly.
Yeah. That is also my request to people who are watching this. हम कितनी बात करते हैं ना that this is not going right in this world, that is not going right in this
What are
world.
you doing to
Oh,
fix it?
social media is this and that. But A, what are you doing to fix it? And B, if there are people who are genuinely doing something with an intent, are you ready to be a consumer for that? Because if you're not a consumer of that, you're a consumer of something else. So as long as you keep being consumers of something else and that something else is growing, you are a contributor to that as well.
yes.
You have to take the responsibility for that. And if you are not, you're in denial.
Definitely, definitely.
So supporting the right intent and right content, I think that is a responsibility now in the times that we live in. You can't
Definitely.
ignore it. You can't say that it doesn't exist. And you keep cribbing about the world, but there are people who are taking the onus upon themselves that I'm gonna, make a dent on this planet in my whatever little ways. Who am I and what bigger change I can cause? Probably I can, I cannot. I don't know that. But you're at least starting with
The
that
intent is
intent,
there, yeah.
right? So this is like a request to, and sometimes your immediate family and friends are the first ones who are not the subscribers to your ideas.
Your biggest fan is the person you don't know.
You don't know
Yeah.
exactly, and I have gotten the maximum support on anything to everything that I've done from the absolute strangers. My own people, I don't know what will it take for me to convince them for even the littlest of the things. And these are the people, whenever I'll have a conversation, they'll always say, "Arey, this is wrong in the world, that is wrong in the world." Then what are you doing for it? And if you're not doing anything, there are people who are really trying to do something. Can you just stand up and
I'll tell
support?
you
That's
something.
it.
This is for the longest time. I was in a space where, okay, as an actor, if I want to succeed and be accepted by the masses, okay, you have to do certain kind of films, those massy films, yes. But cinema can't be only about numbers. Yes, it's a business, but at the same time, am I able to tell interesting stories, show new characters? वो मेरा constant एक सपना था, and somehow I started attracting those kind of people. There's this film Zindagi which is about to release before this year ends. November में release होगी. I don't exactly know the date yet. We'll be announcing it soon. It's a very different kind of a space and a different film. It's not your typical Bollywood affair, you know. Zindagi, there's Revati ji with me in that. Then again, I wanted to do something which is not the typical, run-of-the-mill affair. There's a science fiction script that came my way. So I worked with my producer and director to make sure that mount the film in the best possible way. I'm not the biggest star right now, but still I'm doing my best to enable those makers in my small little way, so that we can come together and keep making those kind of
Keep
films.
making variety, or
कि आज
pool
अगर
that
हम
we choose from.
अगर हम एक 5 करोड़ में 4 करोड़ में एक छोटी फिल्म बना पा रहे हैं, कल के दिन अगर वो सक्सीड होती है तो उसमें और जीरो बढ़ जाएंगे एंड उस फिल्म का स्केल बढ़ जाएगा. लेकिन मेरा इंटेंट, मैं चाहता हूँ कि हमेशा वो अच्छी कहानियाँ कहूँ. तो वही है कि यार व्हेन यू आर ट्राइंग टू पुट दैट आउट, you need that support from the audience as well. And there's this famous saying कि instead of bashing and hating what you don't like, support what you love.
Exactly.
Don't keep criticizing. अच्छा ठीक है, जो नहीं है सही वो नहीं है ना, लेकिन जो थोड़ा बहुत सही है उसको तो प्रमोट करो. I think that's really important.
और बहुत डिफरेंस होता है तारीफ करने और सपोर्ट करने में. तो when I walk into a room, a lot of people praise me, but for me that I'm grateful for it, but that is not support. Support is something beyond that. So I really hope that people who are doing things with the right intent, with their heart in the right place, they get more support. Praises is okay. I mean, I don't think I am or we are largely working for praises. Support and love, yes. So I hope that happens for us.
For us,
and,
all of us.
For anybody.
Anyone who's
for anyone who's there doing the right thing in the right way and just trying to create a space, a room for another kind of thought to come, take the space and be appreciated for just being
I would like to
itself.
add something to that. Sometimes suppose I have a story in my mind or an idea for any business. I would stick to my business. Suppose I have a script that nobody believes in. If I'm elevating myself constantly, कि थोड़ी आपकी एक standing है market में as an actor, many a times people are not going to believe in that story, but they are going to believe in you because your belief is so strong in that story.
Right.
कि you become so influential in a best possible way for the betterment of the craft and the business कि you have an eye for the right kind of things, choosing it, and that people are believing in it because you believe in it.
Right, right.
तो आपका बिलीफ इतना स्ट्रांग हो जाता है अपने खुद के सपने पे, आपकी खुद की चीज़ों पे, कि वो सच्चाई बनने लगती है. बिकॉज वो बोलते हैं ना, हम चलते गए और कारवां बनता गया. सो पीपल बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट. पीपल want to be associated with successful people. People want to be associated with people who are able to deliver and who know what they are doing. And that doesn't come easy. And for that, you need to go within.
How incredible is that, Satya? I am super inspired to see that you are somebody who is extremely self-aware. Because when you are living in a world where you're constantly playing characters and doing things, it is extremely important for you to know what lies within you and what really makes you happy and what brings you that real joy and stuff. So I'm really happy and inspired to see your journey.
Thank you
and
so much.
To hear from you your experiences and the way you see life in general, and how much importance you give to self-awareness. So I really wish and hope that you stay that way and you keep diving deep within yourself and finding those buckets of joy and keep drinking from them.
Beautifully put. Thank you so much.
All the very best to you, Satya,
Thank you,
for your
thank you.
new film that is releasing sometime at the end of
I
this
think the
year.
producers are going to,
Yeah.
they are going to, I'm just plugging it in. There is Zindagi, then there's a science fiction, then there's Mumbai Diaries season 2, then there's another show with the whole army set up to it. So there are some 4-5 good things lined up. Good times ahead.
I really wish you all the best for all of these,
Thank you so
and we are
much.
looking forward to some great performances by you, like you have given so many in the past.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for making time. I'm going to say that again. You came on such a short notice, and you've been such a darling ever since you've come here. Thank you so much for being the wonderful human that you are.
Pleasure is all mine. I'm really happy that I could be a part of it.
I would really look forward to see you real soon when I'm in Bombay next.
Great.
Thank you so much, Satya. Lovely having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.